when you're younger, I don't even think kids, you don't even trip off of race and all that and what you're doing for real. When you're younger, you're just like, hey, friends. And then somewhere in middle school or something, if you just trip off the lunch, something changes in the lunchroom. Before that, kindergarten, all that stuff, everyone's just eating together. Middle school, high school, you start noticing there's groups, and it just divides. And that's when I got started getting in bad. Like I would get in fights outside of school, and I was just getting made fun of so bad, like it was killing me. It was killing me inside. You know what I'm saying? I really, when I got older, I really definitely wouldn't rock my skate shoes to school. I'm like, hell no. Like that's what, like I try to keep everything separate. And I wouldn't skate in the county. I didn't want to see no one I went to school with see me on the skateboard. And then when the weekends came, usually one of the older homies would come pick me up each day. You know, we go downtown St. Louis, which at that time was completely dead. No one's down there, you know what I'm saying? So you can just skate, and no one would definitely see me down there from school, and I would skate all weekend. You want to feel like you're keeping your roots, and like nobody wants to do something that's considered white. When people looked at it like it's a white sport. It's surfers, hey dude, like no one looks like us that does that. Instead of seeing a black person on the board and be like, oh, someone does do it that looks like us, they just shunned it off completely, you know? It was in a negative way, like, oh, why are you doing that? We don't do that.
When I grew up riding a skateboard, I was ostracized. Why you ride a skateboard? I was like, it's fun. They're like, white people do that. I was like, yeah, I'm a black person and I do it. I never knew skateboarding was connotated to white. I always thought skateboarding was connotated to skateboarding.
Not many people knowing about skateboarding and not been in skateboarding, so they looked at it as whack. And if you were skateboarding, you were whack, especially me being black. They're like, oh, you're trying to do that white dude sport, you cowabunga dude, what you a surfer now? Or for a while, you could only take so much, you know. And I was fighting a lot. I mean, even a few years ago, I was actually skating on Bettisford Road, skating down the street, and some guys that were in a construction, like in a truck. And it was like, hey man, niggas don't skate. I was like, man, mind your own business, keep on going, you know, I'm in my 30s, you know, I'm like, why are you arguing with me and I'm just minding my own business?
Yeah, I used to get bottles thrown at me. I used to fucking almost get ran over by cars, just joking around. I used to be called Tony Hawk. Everything, man. I used to, it's hell pretty much. That was crazy. It was hell pretty much.
I got called white boy this, and, you know, you need to stop doing that white boy sport and that, you know, so
it was really hard to deal with because you know, I liked everybody. Then, you know, only a certain type of people didn't like me because I rode a skateboard, and that was people with my same skin tone with a certain mentality. And the way I dealt with it, I just kind of ignored it. Sometimes it, you know, made me really sad. Pretty much, like, I had to tell some kids that I quit skating so they would stop trying to beat me up every once in a while. So. All right, Cecil. All right. Hey, when you see my car pull up, come out there. What's up, buddy? Yo. How you been, man? How you doing? That back Bible right there.
I was clicking with it on.
You got lucky. All right, my brother. I think they call it a whiteboard sport back then is because I think it's because they didn't understand what we're actually doing, and all the bigger skaters back then were all white, so that's all they had to as a reference.
People in the Midwest looked at it as like, oh, it's white boy sport. Surfer, they do that stuff. So I got a lot of flack for it when I was a kid, pretty much. They were just like, why are you trying to be a white boy, all this, you know? And I don't know, I got in a lot of fights over it, and like, kind of messed with me eventually. After a while, started tripping off of it. Like, you know, at first, I just didn't like it, and you know, people picking on me. But after a while, I think it really did. Like, I know it did. It started affecting me more mentally. Like, I started looking at it like I was doing something bad or something. And as an adult, I realize now when a kid is good at something, you're not supposed to feel bad for doing that. You know, you're supposed to have more encouragement.
Because my cousin, he's a skater, right? And all the cheerleaders like him. The cheerleaders want to date the skaters, not the football players. So the tables have turned somewhat.
Lupe Fiasco's that song was like the first kind of introduction for me to see hip hop kind of embracing skating, because it was like before then, hip hop was kind of one thing and skateboarding was another thing.
I think Lupe Fiasco and Pharrell, those guys definitely helped us out a lot. And of course, Lil Wayne now. My thoughts on hip hop embracing skating. I'm a little indifferent about it, man, because I feel like they have some kind of like master plan. And I don't know why they want to come to our little community, our little world that's vast, but still tight-knit. And I don't know, we'll see the outcome.
I'm not a fan of like new hip hop, like Lil Wayne and stuff, and that kick push song, but I've seen how it grew popularity in our black community. Like, if it had to be Lil Wayne, then it has to be Lil Wayne, you know what I mean? But that's not how I got into it, and I'm sure a lot of other cats when it got into it through Bad Brains or punk or something else too. So
It just got accepted mainstream because of, I guess, the artists, you know, that I don't even want to say their names. Certain artists had made it popular in the last few years, talking about it, made it more acceptable.
Yeah, actually, that was probably one of the first songs that I heard as I was developing into a skateboarder, because I used to ball all the time. I was always hooping, and then I started skating, and then that song came out, and it was like pretty much in the same era, and it kind of kept me on my skateboard for a smooth minute.
I could say the whole Lupe Fiasco kick push definitely made skateboarding more acceptable in the black community. I remember starting back skating around that time, and I was skating like North St. Louis, like kind of like in the hood. It was like a little hood area. I mean, people would be like driving down the street and like, you know, you used to hear skate or die all the time, but people would say it in a taunting way, like skate or die, dude, or whatever. And I was like, wouldn't hear that no more. You see a fool like kick push, dude, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they were saying it more like, oh, he out here doing it and all that. And it was a good feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people say skateboarding, you know, you don't want to be accepted and you don't care about fitting in, but I can't speak for everybody else, but I've been a person like, I like being accepted because I'm not doing anything wrong or anything crazy. So just off them saying kick push instead of skate or die, and the way people were saying it, it was more embracing, and you could just tell people were starting to, you know, see things different. Because I see kids out deep every day pushing around. And they look proud. I used to not like skate around like that because I didn't want to be seen, you know. Like fools used to like straight hate and clown on me so hard. Like I would want to skate where no one could see me. You know, everyone's talking about, oh, what you do this weekend, you know, and make up a complete lie, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I was chilling with these chicks and, you know, drinking 40s and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like just making up stuff, and that's how I pretty much did it at that time.
Everyone looked at me like I was silly or something, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't popular, it was just something like technically white people did, and even my dad and everything was like, why don't you get into basketball, or you're tall, you know what I mean? You should be playing basketball, you should play something else, but it was like something was like really attracted me to skateboard. I think it was just because it was like do it yourself and like punk music and stuff, and I'm a big fan of that culture, so it just skateboarding went hand in hand with it.
I like when my son plays team sports, so I like to watch. But for myself personally, I don't care for it too much because skateboarding, you're only in competition with yourself. So this is my motivation right here, not a team.
I grew up playing baseball, and I did that. You know, I did play basketball, and I actually got better in basketball as far as leg strength. Could dunk at least my freshman year in high school because of skateboarding. I didn't play football. You know, I thought I was going to get hurt and I wouldn't be able to skate. So
I was too short to play football, basketball, any of that. So I had to do what was best for me and what I enjoyed, and jumping over things and rolling around. That was my thing.
Basketball is like my second passion. Like, I love basketball. Because when I was a little kid, I used to literally play basketball every single day. The reason why I didn't keep playing is because my dad, he forced it on me every single day. Like, you need to play basketball, man. You need to. Like, skateboarding's not gonna get you anywhere. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll play. I have no choice, you know? I'll do it. You know, it took my board from me. A lot of people can take being yelled at, but some people can't. And like, when I was a little kid, I couldn't take that. Like, until one day, man, I woke up, I was like, told my dad, I was like, Dad, I really love basketball. I love it. Like, I wish I could do it, but I can't take being yelled at every single day. And I just started skating, and like,
Black parents were hard to get to like skateboarding. Black parents looked at me like, nigga, you crazy. Like, you want to do this? They're just like, why do you want to hurt your body so much? And I'd be like, Mom and Dad, this is cool. And they're like, our son is like a sadomasochist. Like, goes out of the house and he comes back with these cuts and scrapes all over him, and he thinks it's cool. And then when they, like in my sophomore year, they were like, we're gonna send you to a psychiatrist and have you talk to somebody. And I talked to him, the guy, the psychiatrist was so rad. He goes, yeah, your parents think you're crazy. I said, oh, about skateboarding? And he's like, yeah, they say that's all you want to do. And I said, yeah, and they say you took down all your sports posters and you just put up posters of skaters and different skate tricks. And I said, yeah. And they're like, you don't want to play sports anymore? And I was like, nah. And he goes, so skateboarding you can do? And I go, not only can I do it, I love it. Yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? But that's what I said to him. And years later, my parents were like, we took you to a psychiatrist, on the simple strength that he would like at least let us know that our son wasn't crazy. And he did. He said, your son's not crazy. He just really likes skateboarding. Hence, 49 years old, still doing it. My parents never saw me skate. I might have sent them videos, maybe they popped a couple in, but you know, VHS tapes at that time, it took too long to get the parts, and if your part wasn't at the beginning, they didn't see you. So my parents never saw me skate. So I saw them right before I went to their house, right before they passed. I sent them I was in the Swedish teen magazine, Ollie, and then I sent them that, and they had framed it. And I remember when I saw it, I got really emotional, and I was like, damn, Mom and Dad, you know, you guys framed that, you know. The photo was kind of insignificant, but I sent it to them, they had it framed, and I remember going, wow, you framed it, and they were like, we were so proud of you. You said you were gonna do something, you did it, you started it, and you finished, and you became what you said you were gonna do, and I was like, damn, Mom and Dad, you know, it feels good when your parents are proud of you. It just, at that point, I was good. Like, I don't, at this point in my life, I'm always golden because I know where my parents sat with it. My parents went from, we don't know shit about this, to like, we're proud of our son and what he done and what he accomplished.
My sons have been skating for quite a while. My 12-year-old has been skating since he was about 5 or 6. The baby is 7. He's been skating in the skate parks and outside since he was about 4. But they just always skated. They've always been in areas where people skated. They've always been attracted to skating.
I just saw people doing it and it just seemed real cool and fun.
My brother started playing skating video games at my grandma's house. He would play like 20-hour games. And I was like, Mom, I want to skateboard. I want to skateboard.
I support them in whatever they do. I've always supported them skating, whether in competitions, at the skate park, outside, on ramps. I personally think Charlotte seems to have a really diverse skate scene. I actually see more black kids skating in Charlotte than I see white kids. Just driving down the street, I see lots of black kids skating, lots of black kids with their skateboards. I think that skating requires a certain type of courageousness. It's something that makes you go a little deeper within yourself than your usual sports team. You don't have your father over you saying, hey, you know, it's time for football. All of your friends aren't on the team. It's a very, it requires a certain amount of solitude, a certain amount of creativity, a certain amount of boldness and courageousness. Also, I think the identity in terms of what people see as being skate culture in the past has been very California, white kids. So little black kids didn't necessarily identify with that, nor did some of them have the exposure to even know what that looks like. So you got a skateboard laying around. I mean, I have a skateboard laying around. You play on it a little bit, but that's it. That's the extent. You don't have a ton of friends that are out on their skateboards. You know, you have a ton of friends that are playing basketball or playing football and saying, hey, you know, why aren't you playing? So that's changing again. You know, you're riding down the street, you're seeing little black kids with skateboards, and they're doing it, and it's becoming something that people can say, oh, okay, what's that about? That's about freedom, and I want to get some of that.
Okay, yeah, so there's a Carl Watson Day in Oakland, and I think they gave that to me because I've been doing a lot of cool stuff in the community, like the Hood Games. It's an event that me and my partner Keith Williams came up with, and Actually, he and I came up with the idea when we're at an X Games in LA, and he was like, "Man, we need something like this for the hood." He's like, "We'll just call it the Hood Games." It's pretty much to bring free product and good vibes to the hood. It's been going on since let's see, that was actually 2006, so for 6 years now. Our first one was in East Oakland, right in the heart of East Oakland on 88th and 82nd and International. And the night before, somebody got killed right on the corner. So it was really good to shine with bright light in the place of darkness.
That guy is, he's like the Oakland spokesmodel, man. I'm telling you, like, I gotta give it to Carl, dude. I never thought, cause you know, I knew about him in high school and stuff, and like just how good he was and how good he is, and just to see him now and like how down to earth he is, like you would never know he's a professional skater when you meet him. You know, he doesn't have that cockiness about him, but he's the dopest cat, dude.
About 16, 17, I quit skating. You know, I never thought I would skate again or nothing. I think I was just like burnt out on my job. I was working at AT&T at the time and just clubbing and just, I don't know, just doing nothing pretty much, spending money. One Saturday I was just like, yo, I'm tired of like just sitting down in this basement watching these fools play video games. And I went and got my board, called my friend up, met him at a school in an empty parking lot, just played games and skate. I was able to do some flip tricks, and I hadn't touched my board in such a long time. And from that day, I just kept skating, at least on the weekends or some days after work. I couldn't find a good job, and I was just still skating, and eventually just figured out, like, yo, I'm working a shitty job here in St. Louis. It's about to be winter, like, you ain't gonna be able to skate. I was like, why don't you just find a shitty job in California and do it there? You know what I'm saying? Do the same thing, get a new outlook on life. Like the homie that was already living here, he kept telling me the same thing. He's like, what are you doing? Like, you can move here and skate and work. Came out here, stayed on his couch for a little bit, maybe for like 2 months or something. Skated, tried to film, stayed with him until I got kicked out. It was a skater house. There used to be 10 different people in there at a time living there, only 2 people on the lease. They never had problems before. Then I move in, and now they have a problem with someone living there without not being on the lease. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much all the neighbors were spooked. They used to come to the door. I used to open the door and tell them who I am. Like, hey, I'm Jabari. I just moved in with Brad, or I'm just staying here with Brad for a second just to let them know who I am and just realize I ain't no random nigga on the stoop smoking a cigarette. But they were still spooked, you know what I'm saying, looking scared no matter how nice I try to be to them. I didn't really know anybody. I had one other homie here, stayed at his house for a weekend. He pretty much let me know that his situation wasn't good for me staying there. So luckily, I just started working at Abercrombie and Fitch. I was doing overnight stock. I would go in and work at 9:30 at night. Usually work till like 5 or 6 in the morning. Then when I get off from there, I would go straight to the BART, because the BART would be running by that time. I usually get on the BART about 6 in the morning, sleep until about noon. Even though I was a grown man, you know what I'm saying, I was in another state with nobody, you know what I'm saying, no family, nothing. And I was really hurt. Like, I didn't want to be around fools, but I wasn't like I hated them. I was just hurt. So I wasn't even filming. I would just wake up and just go skate and just work on my shit. skated with everybody around the island. That's how I got cool with a lot of people. And did that for a while, met some people here and there. So some nights I could couch surf, sleep on the couch. The nights I couldn't, I would do the BART thing. So I was doing that for a while, and then somehow Carl Watson found out that I didn't have nowhere to stay, and he was just telling me he was just tripping off of how I never complained about it or nothing. I always had a smile on your face. He's like, yo, if I can help you out, I got a spot in East Oakland. He's like, I always tell people they can stay there, but no one wants to go because it's all the way out there. I was like, yo, I'm good. I'll stay there. I'm tired of just jumping back and forth all over the place, and some nights just walking around downtown. The BART's not running and I didn't have to work. Moved into there, stayed there for a year. Dope spot. It was the hood, but I had no problem with the hood. Oakland actually reminds me of St. Louis. It reminds me of home. And then that's when I got my room at this where I'm staying at now. I've been here ever since then.
I don't think, you have to be black, white, purple or green. As long as you're having fun and, you share that same camaraderie with, the next person, and that's totally cool because skaters are rare. So when you see another skater, it's like you guys share something, I
started skateboarding and you just meet so many different people, but the first thing is they skateboarded. So you already had a common love for something. And we loved it so much that then you just started learning stuff about them that might be different. I learned stuff about you that's different.
Hello, everybody. It's my boy Jabari. Call me.
It did a lot for me. I definitely opened my mind to see things a lot different. It's a lot of music I would have never heard probably if I didn't, skateboard. And the funny thing is you would think, oh, he's talking about rock. There's a lot of rap stuff I would have probably, I don't know, I might have not have heard. Just off the top. So me, I don't have any older brothers. I don't have any older sisters. Skateboarding really opened up music to me because the videos I was watching, I would hear all different types of music. It put me on some shit that I would never listen to either, but I actually like it. Or I might hear some crazy Megadeth song and I'll start bobbing my head because it's to everything's visual, audio, it goes together for me. I'll end up visualizing this video I saw. I'm thinking about that video and those tricks that dude was doing at that time and how impressive that was to me, and then it kind of correlates with the music, and next thing you know, I'm over here in the bar bopping my head to Megadeth. Fools looking at me like, what you know about that? And I'm like, yeah.
only black kids knew, like, this is what you needed a long time ago, like, to get out your frustration and all that. Like, it helped me, skateboarding has helped me with confidence, with just in life. You can almost apply it to anything in life as far as, like, approaching an obstacle. Like, if you don't do it the first time, try it again, you know what I mean? And the more you try it, the more muscle memory, and you're gonna get it polished.
I found skating when I was 10 years old. My older brother had done it. You know, looking back on it, I do feel like it definitely kept me away from a lot of stupid things that could have been going on, or kept me on a productive path. You know, it kept me occupied. You're learning a lot from a skateboard, you know what I'm saying? Like, discipline is a major one. If you mess up, that thing can hurt you. And just going hard at something, you know what I mean? Really like setting a goal and trying to reach it.
Skateboarding is like geometry, because every trick's like an equation. And if you do one thing wrong, it won't work. You learn from your mistakes, and it's all about trial and error.
To me, skating is life. It's a passion. It's not a hobby. It's more of a dedication. It's everything. You know, you wake up, breathe skating, you sleep, and you're thinking about skating. When I'm at work, I'm thinking about skating. It's everything to me. It's pretty much changed my whole way of life. It's made me look at other people in a more calmer way, and look at the earth in general as a huge playground, you know. So no matter where we're kicked out of, there's always something to skate, whether it's a red curb or, you know, a flat gap, or, you know, even if you're just doing manis on the curb to get, you know, from one curb to another. Those are always fun. So skating for sure is most definitely life to me.
It's creative expression to me. That's what I do skateboard. I'm just trying to express me. And it's like the way the spot looks, the trick you're doing, how you're doing it, even what you're rocking at the time, like everything, like it's all expression.